You just heard and saw on your screen the winning numbers for tonight's $1.6 billion jackpot drawing. It is the largest Powerball jackpot in history, which may have just been won by any Powerball player in the 45 states tickets are sold in, including right here in South Carolina. A good Saturday evening, and thank you so much for joining us for News 19 at 11. I'm Darcy Strickland in for Kaylin Hagwood. We begin with tonight's Powerball drawing. Now, if someone wins tonight's jackpot, it would set a new record for the largest lottery prize in history. Let's take a closer look at what it would mean to win that grand prize, because it's really hard to wrap your mind around $1.6 billion. Anyone who wins has the option to become a billionaire as long as they'd agree to annual payments of prize money over 30 years instead of taking that lump sum. But most people will choose the cash option, which lottery officials say would be over $782 million for tonight's drawing. The last time we saw a Powerball jackpot this big, the last time we saw this across the world was back in 2016 when the jackpot reached just below $1.6 billion. The prize was split between three winners then. Now, Powerball officials always urge you to play responsibly. And the reason they do that is because if you're a winner, you're really lucky. Your odds of winning are 1 in 292 million. Thousands from around the Midlands have been taking their shot at winning it all tonight. Lottery officials say they've seen new highs in statewide turnout for lottery ticket sales. The lottery says over $1.5 million in Powerball tickets have been sold in our state since the last lottery drawing on Wednesday. Sales could bring up to $10 million in scholarship money to students in our state. It's a lot of money for kids going to college. Now, if you ended up winning tonight, what would you do with all that money? Let's say you could take $782 million and do a lot. With that money, you could buy a lot of stuff. How about this? We're getting close to Thanksgiving. Maybe you stock up on turkey for Thanksgiving. You could buy nearly 32 million frozen whole turkeys from Walmart. Or maybe you're ready to put up Christmas decorations, right? You could get 3.5 million pre-lit 9-foot-tall Christmas trees from Walmart. If you're feeling hungry, you could buy more than 76 million Big Mac meals. But let's say with all that money, you don't feel like the kind of person who should wait in a drive-through line. With that being said, you could just buy 521 McDonald's restaurants. That would be all the McDonald's in North Carolina and then some. Corey, the good news is we're both standing here. I'm going to say this is good news. We're both standing here. We're going to finish the newscast. We didn't win.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't buy a ticket. I know you did. So
I bought one ticket, yeah. So I was hoping that $2 was going to get me $1.6 billion, but it doesn't look like that happened.
Yeah, hopefully we got that lucky viewer somewhere here in the Midlands. Yes. They're screaming their heads off and they're watching WLTX at the same time. But let's move over to weather and talk about what we can expect, because we've seen some rain here as we've gone throughout the evening hours. You can see most of that moving out though. So some light to moderate precipitation right along I-77 north of Ridgeway and Winnsboro. That's really where we're seeing the best rain right now, and temperatures very mild because of this southerly breeze we have and all the cloud cover. We're still at 74 in Lexington, 71 in Sumter, and 72 in Bishopville. Remember just a couple weeks ago, we were seeing lows in the lower to middle 30s. Nothing like that tonight. Feeling almost like a late summer night here across the Midlands. And as we go tomorrow, more of the same on the way. We're looking at another warm day. Temperature is going to be working back into the lower to even maybe middle 80s with some showers possible in the morning and then once again as we head into the evening. So we're going to break down what you can expect coming up.
Corey, thank you so much. Just hours ago, our state's early voting period officially ended. This was the second time South Carolina offered no excuse early voting since the legislation passed in May. Now that it's over, the next time you'll be able to vote for the midterms will be on Tuesday during the general election. Some of the key races on the ballot will be the elections for our state's governor and superintendent of education. We'll be closely following those races on Election Day. Be sure to check WLTX.com for updates as results start to roll in for state and local elections on Tuesday. Now, when you head out to vote on Election Day, polls will be open from 7 in the morning until 7 in the evening. You'll be able to vote at your local precinct listed on your voter ID card. Even if you get in line right at 7, you should still be able to vote. Not should, you still will be able to vote as long as you're in line by the time the polls close at 7. Make sure you bring a valid photo ID with you when you go to vote. As we mentioned just a moment ago, our clocks will go back an hour as daylight saving time ends for the year tomorrow. But one group suggests it might be best to get rid of the time change altogether. The Sleep Research Society says getting rid of daylight saving could help people get more sleep and relieve stress. The group says daylight saving time causes more light exposure at night, which delays the body's natural production of melatonin. The group says this can lead to sleep loss, heart disease, and depression. As daylight saving time will soon end in the U.S., will other countries observe the time change and turn their clocks back as well? Our National Verify team takes a closer look.
Verify here with your Fast Fact. Daylight saving time ends November 7th, and we're fact-checking some myths around the semi-annual changing of the clocks.
Like this question: do all countries change the clocks at the same time? These are our sources. In the U.S., it's Congress that decides when Americans change their clocks. The last adjustment was in 2007, when they made the duration of the spring forward 8 months, meaning we turn our clocks back later in the year. There are parts of Canada that also observe DST at the same time, as do some neighboring states in Mexico, but that's it. Europeans fall back at the end of October, and New Zealanders move their clocks in September. Also, many nations outside of North America and Europe don't observe DST at all, so it's false that countries change their clocks at the same time. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
The Elgin community is saying farewell to a man they say lit up the sky with his holiday tradition. Paul Towns passed away earlier this year, but not before making sure that his community could see how much he loved them one last time. Walker Lawson has his story.
One thing that my dad ever gave us is that we always lived like it was our last day with him.
Christina Churchwell is Paul Towns Jr.'s daughter.
It's bittersweet. I mean, you kind of wait to hear the golf cart coming around the corner with Dad saying, I messed something up, or, there's some things like the tractor that is supposed to carry my dad tonight, it's not starting, and I don't have my dad here to help me fix the tractor, so those moments are the hard ones. It's not being able to just ask him that question,
Paul started the Elgin Lights almost 26 years ago, a free event for those in the community, but also to help raise money for Camp Cole. Back in September, Paul's battle with cancer ended.
It's been a very long, emotional month putting up the lights. There are certain sections that were so emotional that I couldn't do it alone. Because every lights display out here represents a part of my father. The hardest one would be my dad's memorial. It's all lit up in red, white, and blue for the military, honoring him in the lime green, which is his cancer color.
An emotional time not only for Churchwell, but for the many families who called Paul a friend and a man who will shine bright forever.
I've been coming out here for 20 years. This was a tradition. They've added a lot of things through the years, and they're going to be missed out here.
This has been a tradition for us since it started. It's going to be so hard because this has been like, I'm going to cry, but this has been like amazing.
Even though we are no longer having the lights, that his legacy is still living on inside their hearts, inside our hearts, and even out at Camp Cole.
Reporting in Elgin, I'm Walker Lawson, News 19, WLTX.
Well, to continue to honor Paul's legacy, you can go to our website at WLTX.com, and we've got information for you there on how you can donate to Camp Cole. Still ahead tonight on News 19 at 11, we've had a warm and humid start to our weekend across the Midlands, but temperatures are going to start dropping next week. Corey Smith is back with a full look at your forecast. That's after this short break.